With the recent demise of the Ocean Gate submersible Titan on a deep sea dive to visit the remains of the RMS Titanic, I found my morbid curiosity on the terrible tragedy reprise my interest in one of the most famous quote-unquote unsinkable vessels of all time. And with that, my thoughts eventually made their way to the 1997 movie Titanic, starring Leonardo Dicaprio and Kate Winslet. The last time I watched this movie, I still needed a VHS player, so I decided why not take the afternoon off and rewatch this flick. The 3 hours and 15 minutes are a great distraction / break from my nagging wife, whatever, let's just go. As most of you know, the RMS Titanic was operated by the White Star Line and was the largest ship afloat when she entered service. She was regarded as nothing less than opulent, as she was designed to accommodate the elite class of society, but even her second and third class passengers had some of the nicest accommodations of the era. However, Titanic's design went beyond luxury, as she was also touted as one of the safest vessels in the world. She was an Olympic-class steamer that was subdivided into 16 primary compartments, which in the event of an emergency could be sealed via watertight doors. This concept, known as compartmentation, was actually a relatively new concept, and with Titanic having the ability to stay afloat with as many as 4 flooded compartments, she was of course deemed unsinkable. Yeah, well, we all know how that worked out. The Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage on April 10th, 1912, struck an iceberg late on April 14th, and ultimately sunk in the early morning hours of April 15th with an estimated loss of life of around 1,500 people, making it the worst peacetime sinking of an ocean liner. Oh, this is a downer. Let's move on to the movie. James Cameron, the man who directed Titanic, was fascinated by the ship and its story, so much so that he visited the ship quite often at the bottom of the ocean, 33 times to be exact, and he decided the story of the ship sinking would be a perfect for a somewhat modern-day take on Romeo and Juliet, basically a forbidden romance on a doomed vessel crossing the high seas of the Atlantic. And you know what? Cameron not only succeeded in making a popular movie, but Titanic ended up grossing nearly $2 billion, making it the highest-grossing film ever, at least until Avatar came around in 2009 and dethroned Titanic, which is yet another film by James Cameron. But who is James Cameron? Well, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you no doubt had a hard-on for this fella at one point or another. Yes, I'm referring to you, ladies. While Piranha 2 had its moments, the Terminator first put Cameron on the map for me. James then followed up this with one of the best movies of all time, Aliens. I'm sorry, I still quote Hudson nearly 40 years later.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Cameron continued with success after success with movies like The Abyss, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and True Lies. The guy just kept making really good fucking movies. Now Titanic shows up, smashes the box office, wins 11 awards at the Oscar, including Best Picture. Everyone is happy, right? Well, except me. As I watched the movie over 25 years later, I noticed something quite sinister that James Cameron hid in plain sight, right in front of my beak. Remember, James said that he wrote the story to, in essence, be Romeo and Juliet on the Titanic, but what we end up with is a weird love triangle that includes a rich head, a cheating fiancé, and a homeless con man. What my 16-year-old brain didn't realize then was one of these assholes was a conniving, evil motherfucker that played two other assholes against each other. This person was an ungrateful, spineless piece of trash that should have died on the ship. And it wasn't the character played by Billy Zane. It was Rose! Cameron tried to portray this character as a meek and oppressed, but really she is nothing short of a killer. Let me take you on a deep dive to prove my theory. The movie more or less begins with Rose showing up at the docks and bitching about the Titanic. It just looks like the Mauritania. The Titanic is 100 feet longer. Wow, just sounds really spoiled complaining about the size. I guess that's fresh. And what drives me nuts is what she says afterwards when comparing the Titanic to a slave ship.
It was a slave ship, taking me back to America in chains.
I mean, wow, just fucking wow. I love watching pompous, ungrateful, rich narcissist asshats traveling on the most luxurious ship in the world, and all they could fucking do was whine? The one time I took a cruise, I had an interior cabin at the bottom of the ship, and it felt like a fucking coffin. The food sucked, the service sucked, the staff sucked, and then the boat broke down. God, I love Carnival. The next time we see Rose, we get to see more of her fiancé's personality. Rose's fiancé, Cal, played by Billy Zane, is written to make the guy look like one of the biggest bags that ever walked the earth. He makes an offhanded comment that Picasso paintings are dumb, which, supposed to make him look like an asshole. However, that is never really accomplished because you had Billy Zane playing the part, and Billy Zane in the 90s is just awesome. You'd be better off casting someone like Gary Busey for the role. Everyone hates that fucker. The next time we see Rose and Cal together is at dinner on the Titanic. They try to make the scene look like Rose is being controlled, but all I see is a smug response from her as she tries to light up a cigarette in front of her mother. My mom would have just smacked me in the face and said, what the f*** are you doing? But then Cal orders Rose's meal, and he's a misogynist. Oh my gosh, he's so overbearing. And calm down, it's f***ing 1912. The 19th Amendment, what gave women the rights to vote, is still 7 years away. Cut the guy some slack, for Christ's sake. The dude is literally paying for Rose and her mom, of all people, to sail across the ocean in absolute luxury. The cost of a first-class ticket in today's dollars on the Titanic is about $130,000 per person. Me, if this movie occurred today, Cal would likely be traveling alone in first class on the Titanic and then put Rose and the soon-to-be mother-in-law on some discount boat eating dog food. I guess that's progress for you.
You gonna cut her meat for her too there, Cal?
Oh, f*** off, fatty. Rose then makes a comment to Bruce Ismay, basically insulting what is his greatest achievement in life. What the f*** has Rose accomplished? It's such an asshole thing to do. If she acts like this in public, what do you think she's like in private? Did you hear that? My life would be an endless parade of parties and cotillions, yachts and polo matches. Give me a break. This is your problem with life? There are so many of us that work not one, but two jobs, 60 hours plus per week. We're always away from home, struggling to make ends meet and provide for our families, and you're bitching about going on a yacht?
I'm on a boat! I'm on a boat!
You!
Jump, 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 jump.
Now we introduce Jack, a dude just minding his own business that saves Rose from falling off the edge of the Titanic.
Gotcha, bitch!
However, due to circumstances, he's confused with being a potential aggressor. Rose, obviously not wanting to show disgrace, comes up with a retarded excuse.
Propellers, and I slipped.
And the group kind of buys it. Then as the group starts to leave, Colonel Gracie flags down Cal and says,
How about a little something, for the effort?
Cal proposes something menial, not surprised. The guy is a dickhead. Some of the worst tips I ever got in the industry were from rich assholes. Anyways, Rose then uses the opportunity to take a shot at Cal being cheap. I mean, what the f***? Cal was showing genuine concern for your health and well-being. And despite looking like a fucking moron a second ago, you decide to take a shot at him? Cal acknowledges Rose's discontent and ups the ante with Jack by inviting him to a nice first-class dinner. You know, despite being pompous and arrogant, rich guy, I haven't seen anything to make me really hate Cal yet. Next, we see Rose and Cal in their suite, and Cal pulls out a fucking 56-carat diamond for Rose, promising her the world and only asking for her to open up to him. Okay, let's stop right here. If Billy Zane pulled a 56-carat diamond in front of me and promised me the world, I'd suck his right then and there. Yeah, I said it. Hashtag no regrets. Now we see Rose and Jack walking around the boat deck, and yet Rose is up to her usual antics. Seriously, get over yourself. We've all met these kinds of people. I'm rich. I get everything provided to me. I'm oppressed. Just go create your OnlyFans page and go f yourself would be the modern day response. Rose only perks up when she starts looking at naked chicks that Jack has drawn. Interesting. Rose likes the smut. Rose likes being f***ing. Oh, okay, I'll stop there. Dinner time! Jack arrives for his free meal and shows everyone that he can clean up nicely. He proceeds to tell his story of how being homeless is fun and grifting your way around the world is cool. The weird thing is how much Rose is paying attention to him. I would say it's with admiration, but watching this film again, it's more like a predator eyeing a prey.
She's a predator.
At the end of dinner, Jack slips her a note and says, meet me at the clock, then offers to take Rose below decks for a real party.
Does he like to party?
Okay, I know I'll get some shit over this, but Rose is slumming it with a bunch of drunken dudes. Usually, it doesn't end well for the girl. Well, unless they're into that. But seriously, I know the movie is trying to show Rose breaking free and how she is a strong, independent woman. However, some people would actually kind of say she's cheating on Cal. Not physically, but emotionally for sure. The worst part is she has absolutely no regrets. A normal person would struggle with what the impact would be on their partner while pursuing something like this. I mean, look, I know exactly what would happen if I went partying with a bunch of chicks and my wife found out. But Rose is unbothered, undeterred, and she feels she deserves this. And by golly, she's gonna get some. Well, the next morning we find Rose sitting in the veranda with Cal having some breakfast, and obviously Cal's a little pissed off about what Rose did last night.
My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks in a row?
When he tries to comment about the previous evening's festivities, Rose immediately counters by pointing out that Cal had his right-hand man follow her, and as his fiancé, she deserves better? Okay, I get that Cal flipping the table in a moment of rage is uncalled for, and I never condone violence. That being said, come the f*** on! Rose has done nothing this entire movie but takes shots at Cal and emasculate him any chance she gets. Holy shit! I can only imagine how great this relationship has gone thus far. What an asshole thing to do. James Cameron tried to make Cal look like a controlling, manipulative jerk, but what he created was just a simp. If I were Cal, I'd tell Rose, if you like third class that much, you get to stay there for the rest of the trip. F you, it's over. And I'll send your mom down for good measure. Rose is absolutely trash, but I think she knows what she's doing. Cal's actions make her feign fear, but deep down, she's thirsting. Believe me. So when Jack pulls Rose aside a little bit later and starts blabbing about how he feels,
You blab quake!
you can see the glint in Rose's eyes. She's landed another simp. Oh, she's got him. Hook, line, and sinker. And you can't blame Jack, really. I mean, dude's just trying to get laid. But I wonder if this is typical Rose behavior. Keep the simp sugar daddy close, but go out and whoever you want. It's a sick and twisted fetish, but does this not sound like a better understanding of Rose than the I'm oppressed take? You need to make the guys beg for your affections. Hence the drawing scene. She continues to push Jack. Old Rose even opines with,
Did we do it?
for normal people, it's, yeah, we did it twice. But no. Remember, she's got to take the simp to the breaking point. You can see Rose majorly gets off on this, and that's what makes her take it to the next level. We all know what happens in the next scene. Rose is evil. Now, the Titanic did what it does best and hits the iceberg, and it starts to sink. The story more or less slows down since the focus is more about the Titanic going down, but in short, Cal frames Jack as the buddies come back to the stateroom. I mean, can you blame him, though? Your fiancé is walking back reeking of sex. You are paying for her and her mother to travel across the ocean and are preparing to start your journey with the love of your life, and out of the blue, some bag asshole kid comes into the picture and within a day is dropping his load into your fiancé.
Hey, try not to suck any on the way through the parking lot.
I'm kind of surprised Cal didn't take the gun right then and there and blow his fucking brains out. Oh yeah, I forgot. The simp thing. Anyways, Jack is taken into custody and Rose throws another hissy fit because Cal, I guess, insults the naked drawing of her. The rest of the movie is Jack and Rose trying to avoid drowning and trying to stay on the boat for as long as possible. But it's the ending of this movie, though, that illuminates Rose's true colors. A bright spot occurs close to the ending of the movie when Jack and Rose are in the ocean. Most people don't see it this way, but the duck has eyes like an eagle. So Rose and Jack are in 30-degree water trying to survive. The onset of hypothermia beginning to set in when they find a piece of wood that kind of looks like a headboard or something. Rose gets on top, and when Jack attempts to join her, the board begins to flip, rendering it useless for Jack. And we all just go,
80% of my body is out of the water and in the air.
Yeah, same here.
You suck!
So what have we really learned about Rose? I think she's a psychopath. Why? She proved that she had fluid morals. She consistently shits on those close to her, and then cheats on her fiancé by shagging a guy that looks like he's 12. But if you carefully watch Jack throughout the movie, he is persistent and is nagging. Rose, you have to do this. Rose, you have to do that. And I think when they're floating in the ocean, Rose has an epiphany. Holy shit, she's thinking. We end up surviving. I'm going to be stuck with this stage 5 clinger. He whines more than I do. Oh, I was an idiot to this head case. And now I've opened Pandora's box. Why did this fucking boat had to sink? I could have easily ditched his ass and found another incel later in New York. Well, there happens to be a lot of folks dying around me. What's one more? I don't want this smelly, homeless man-child slowing me down. The guy has no ambition, no money. He ain't going to take care of me. But wait, if I let him survive and leave him later, I bet he'll tell Cal that I'm alive. No loose ends.
What a nasty woman.
Hey, thank you for watching. We hope you understand this is just satire, and we have a good time doing it. If what you saw here made you happy, please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you didn't like what you saw here, please hit the like and subscribe button, because it'd make me happy. Thanks for watching. Mahalo.